Hello and welcome to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about telling your kids no electronics.
So the big question is this: how are parents like us, who don't have a manual, who are doing the best we can, who feel as though we aren't enough, how are we going to raise healthy, happy children who we are proud of and still keep our sanity in that process? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Ryan Roy, and welcome to I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, a podcast for parents who are being real with themselves.
Hello and welcome back to this episode of I Don't Know Jack About Parenting, where today I'm going to be talking about telling your kids no electronics. So I just took on a new client in my business, and this is the week of Thanksgiving, and this is our call the other day, and I said, hey, what are you doing for the holiday? Are you traveling? And she says, yes, I'm going back to my hometown. There's a farm, there's a lot of things to do, and I've decided as a family, she has two kids, an 8 and 11-year-old, that we're going to do a no electronics holiday. And I was like, now mind you, it's a new client, so given perspective, not knowing where she's coming from or really knowing her that well yet, I was like, do you mind if I just give a little insight into that? And she's like, oh, sure. I was like, listen, that may be great, and that may be your agenda, but there's a huge expectation there, and that expectation just may not be met. They don't know they're not allowed to have electronics. You've declared it. That makes you kind of a dictator of the family, and nobody likes the dictator of the family. Like, you are going to run into some pushback, and is that what you want to do with your time? She's like, no. I said, so this is what I suggest. Go in there a little bit softer. And in your mind, and in your husband's mind, you guys have a discussion around how you create an environment that doesn't need electronics. So you say you're going to a farm. I mean, what do we do on the farm? Are we going to be doing some chores in a fun way? Like, hey, have you ever seen a chicken lay eggs? And the kids are like, no. The next thing you know, you're over there, pulling the eggs, and, or hey, have you guys ever seen, the pigs get bathed, or how they bathe? Let's go and hang out and do that, or whatever it looks like, whatever you do on the farm, make it enticing and like, this is pretty awesome how we do this. I mean, if it's and I don't know the farm, and I'm telling her this, but go and find activities that don't require electronics, that require engagement, and don't even have any expectations around that, because they're so used to being, entertained by those games that have a lot of moving parts and require a lot of attention, and watching a chicken lay an egg that takes time does not energize them the way those video games do. But after a couple days of being desensitized to all that other stuff, they may engage a little more. And then at the end of the day, remind them, listen to this, tell kids what they can do. Say, hey, we're going to go do this, or hey, we're going to go do that. And as they're doing it, engaging and talking, and we're just making it fun, they're not on the electronics. And later on in the day, when things wind down, maybe after dinner, and your son or your daughter say, hey, Mom, can I get on the iPad? And you say, hey, let's just talk about our day a little bit. And then they're like, oh, what do you want to talk about? We already did it. And you say, well, what was your favorite part of today? Nothing. I want to get on the iPad. And say, okay, if you tell me your 3 favorite parts of the day and why they're your 3 favorite parts of the day, then you can use the electronics. And then they sit there and they tell you, and you're like, well, why was that, right? It's not just telling so they give you an answer so they get what they want. And why? And why? You say, wasn't that fun? I had a blast after they answer it, and they go, yeah, it kind of was fun. You're not resisting or denying them the electronic. You're allowing them to recap their day acknowledge that they had a good time, and subconsciously, you could actually say this or not, realize that, hey, you can have fun without electronics all the time. See, our challenge as parents is we keep telling them what they can't do. And in one of the chapters of my book, I always talk about acknowledge them for the behavior you desire. Hey, you were awesome out there on the farm today when you milked that cow. That was crazy good. It took me a while to figure that out. And they're like, oh, whoa, that was really cool to be acknowledged. And don't tell them no, give them alternatives. So it's not saying, hey, you can't be on the iPad. It's, hey, why don't we engage as a family this way? It's a big difference in results. And they don't even know they're being fooled. Why? Because they're kids. And they just don't, they're not there. So what I'm saying to you is, with the electronics, we keep telling them they can't do it. They don't know why. But why don't we replace whatever it is that you don't want them doing with an activity that they would enjoy doing? This may create a little bit of you might need to become a little bit more creative, mom or dad. It's going to cost you a little bit more energy and time. But aren't your kids worth thinking about how we can get them away from these things so that they are more engaged in this little thing we call life and hopefully the family? But we got to be creative, we got to be intentional, and most importantly, we need to be consistent, because we want to send them a consistent message of what family looks like. See, everybody says, oh, they shouldn't be on the games all the time. Well, let's not talk about what they shouldn't be doing. Let's talk about what they should or could be doing, and let's implement that. See, I don't know jack about parenting, but I think what's missing in this entire generation is us being connected physically and personally, as opposed to connected through a device, texting, email, all that stuff. Let's connect more, especially in this week of giving thanks to what we have. We'll see you tomorrow. And if you don't listen to me tomorrow, I understand. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Do you want to be the dad you wish you had? If so, go get my free book, Be the Dad You Wish You Had, at BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com. Inside, you'll find my most effective 40 tips to quickly and easily transform yourself into the ideal dad. Go to BeTheDadYouWishYouHad.com now and get it while it's free.